So, if you're a man, right, or even a boy or a teenager becoming a man, I'm 27, and some people would consider me a man, but like I would consider myself still young. Like I'm still young. So, as men, now I think this can apply for women too, but I am a man, so I can only speak for my own experiences and what I actually am. So, in my own experience, because this is what has been working for me, and it's what I kind of found out um, helps things run smoother, is if men live by rules or ideas or adapt philosophies and live by these philosophies, I feel like men have to do that. They have to live by rules, live by philosophies, live by ideas, follow through with their ideas, and like walk the ideas. Don't just say your ideas. Actually, be the ideas that you speak. So I made a video about like a short video about this, probably like the other day or whatever. But I was thinking about this when I was like, I made a video for TikTok, and if you guys check me out on TikTok, on Instagram, Mark Dreams 25, all one word. But so I made a video for TikTok basically saying that like how I remain peaceful walking through hell, and how I remain peaceful walking through hell is that for the past 8 years of my life, 8 years, I've actually been working on these practices. I practice on being able to change my mind as fast as possible. As much as I believe the ideas that I speak and I believe everything I say, it's just I am not attached to any of it too much to the point where if another idea was more grounded in reality than mine and there was more evidence towards that idea, then I'm quick to say, well, I was wrong the whole fucking time, guys. Well, well, now I know. Um, it's that thing that I've trained myself to do that. 8 years ago, I didn't want to be wrong. 8 years ago, I didn't want people to tell me what they thought. I was like, I'll figure it out on my own. I'll get it. I would say, well, they don't know what they're talking about because they're not me. Or 8 years ago, I thought negative thoughts all the time. All the time. My brain would just go on this, boom, boom, you can't do it, man. Stop fucking, you're fucking stupid. Or like all this other shit that I would say in my head about me, about myself. That, I have all these dreams and all these things I'm trying to do, but I felt like, well, that's never going to happen. Or I felt like I was never going to be loved the way I wanted to be loved, or I felt like because the relationship I was in, I wasn't getting the feeling that I wanted. I had the things, right? We had an apartment together, we had a child together, we had the life together, we had, I had a job at the time, but I just didn't feel full, complete, or I don't know, I didn't have control. So therefore, and at the time, I had no way of living. I had no practices. And it's this that now that I have actual practices, and these practices for men can be, because it's going to be different for every human being. But this is why I say men and women, it can work for women too. It's just men are, if you're flowing correctly, if your masculine energy is flowing correctly, then you should be on this kick where, so for me, for example, when from 15 until, well, 16 until I was like 20, I had a studio, okay? And I ran the studio, I got paid for it, I would record people's music and master their audio. And it was just like a home studio I made in my basement, but like I literally learned how to master the audio, and like that's where I learned the grit of, behind the scenes in music and shit. But back then, right, I did all that, but I didn't have control over my mind because I had all the things I wanted in a sense. I was a music thing, I had this, but it wasn't um in my head. I don't know how to explain it. That when something went wrong, when I went through the breakup then, I acted so immature about it. I was so angry. I was a lot different than I am now. So like I had a severe anger problem, and I had such an anger issue. I was in anger management twice. Uh, like I used to literally just, there would be times where I'd scream so much where I'm like whatever the fuck, right? And I would lose my voice where like literally I couldn't. I'm talking like this for the next fucking 3 4 days, right? And there was times where I was scared that my voice was never gonna come back. And it's shit like that where it's like it's because people would be like, "Yo, bro, stop screaming." Well, I could be like, "Well, yo, bro, stop fucking thinking negative thoughts. Like, why do you think negative about yourself, or why gain control over your mind?" It's not that easy. So like as a child, when I used to like punch holes in the walls, or I was an angry kid, but like there was reasons for that, but the main fucking reason, the main issue is lack of control of the self. So this lack of control of the self can go in either way. Now, men and women are different, so their brain chemistry and the way they react to things is different. If a man doesn't have control over his mind, the way he will react to something is through anger, aggression, uh, ego, whatever. Now, the way that women will react if they don't have control over their mind is emotion. They'll react from an emotional, point where it's either tears, crying, just getting emotional about it, or some women don't necessarily cry, and it's similar to men that it's maybe they get a little angry, but it's the sadness. But like because it's men are weird, instead of sitting down breaking down crying, men use the anger, but it's all the same feelings, it's all from the same reason: lack of control over the mind, lack of control over the self. And years after practice, like it's not, I don't just say this shit, like I've been here by myself now for about 2 months, and like practice, I meditated last night, I still have psychedelic experiences where now my psychedelic experiences are different because it's just me. So I'm literally practicing mantras, literally repeating while I'm on the psychedelic, repeating things like I don't know, because for me, I'm just trying to change my mentality. I'm trying to change programs that I had from when I was a child. So I've literally had to repeat, I am wealth, I am health, or money comes to me, I attract money because I love money and money loves me, or shit like that, right? And some people will say, well, that's dumb, bro, with fucking all about money now. And it's like, no, I'm not about money, but that's why I have to do the practices because I grew up poor. So, like, literally, I have to break this thing in my own consciousness. And it's that thing that for years I've done this with every other aspect of my life besides money. So for now in my life, I do have to make my mantras about money. I do have to sit there, and if I'm meditating, maybe I'm doing a mantra meditation where I'm repeating, I am wealth, I am health, or money comes to me, and I love money, and money loves me, and I am a money magnet, and like little things like that, because and then also figuring out my ideas. And it's not just, you can't just say I attract money. Like, where the fuck is it coming from, bro? Is it gonna come from the air? Like, so like for me it's about, I have my online business that I'm getting ready to relaunch, and for now I might just be selling kratom here in my hometown because there are people that use kratom that would buy it from me. And I've been buying kilos of kratom, investing in it, and it's that thing. I have an idea for my online business for the herbs, so I got to stock up on the herbs. I got to figure out how to sell it, what's the price of it, that I'm buying it in bulk, and obviously if you buy them in bulk, it's cheaper, and then I can sell it to the customer, to the people, and then I'll make my profit. I got to put away the money for taxes and like all of this shit that I've been learning because that's what I want to do. Now, I have been learning this since 2017. 2017 was the first time I decided to research and start learning business. And it's the practices. I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch Hulu. I don't watch movies. I watch people that can teach me shit that I need to learn for my life, that I need to learn to gain control of my life. And that's what I did in the beginning with psychedelics. I listened to Terrence McKenna for 5 hours straight. I practiced listening. I listened to Bob Proctor talk about this practice of putting a dot on the wall and staring at that dot, and it helps improve your focus. Like if you put a dot on your wall and you look at it from like a little distance, if you stare at it long enough, the rest of the room or everything around you will start to get blurry, and it'll just kind of be you focused in on the dot. And how long you can do that for also can tell how long you can focus on an activity without losing traction. And it's also, thoughts create reality, but if you can't focus long enough, your thought ain't gonna create shit. If it's the mantra thing, like I believe it's like 20 times you've said it, your mind will begin to start to believe it. I don't believe in the happy one, because I kind of want to get back to the reason why I have all my peace. Like I always have my peace all the time, but it wasn't always like this. And it's that. So to get back to that, I kind of just want to try to explain. Okay, so this is how I did it. I don't know how other people can do it. I have no idea. All I know is that this is working for me. And it's working for me in a way that people would say it's not working for you because you have no money. And I have money now. I'm just now like, but I have little money. I have less than $1,000 saved, and I slowly have to figure out how, if I could save $500, you could save another 500 and have $1,000. If you could save $1,000, then you can save $2,000. If you could save $2,000, you could save $4,000, and like so forth and so on. But it's not just about saving, because I don't want money. I want the money to attract to me, but it's just energy, as an energy transfer, that I need the Kratom. I need my online business up and running. I need DJ equipment so I can start performing at shows. I need there are certain things I need, so I'm trying to learn how to attract it and become it, and it's that thing. I practice. So I was researching Stoicism, hedonism, just a lot of different philosophical ideas, realizing that I live by a lot of these philosophical ideas. Like I guess in a sense I am very stoic and I live a hedonism type life, but I don't fully practice any of these ideas. I pick parts of all of the fucking things I have learned everywhere, from my own psychedelic experiences, from researching shamanism to growing up in a Catholic religion, growing up with the beliefs that I had from my childhood, because yeah, my mom in a sense is not really that, I guess, what you would call great with money. She doesn't have any money knowledge really, but what she gave me was so much love that literally I have so much self-love for myself that, like, I don't understand not loving yourself. Like, I've always loved myself, even when things, and that's only because the way my mom raised me is the way she loved me. I now do that to myself, and I now try to do that to everyone I love. Right, the same way my mom loved me is the same way I radiate the same love. I guess, and it's that thing that I've picked pieces. I want the love aspect that my mom taught me. I no longer want the money problems or the irresponsibility with the money, because she didn't necessarily teach me that. It was children see things, and as they see things, they're learning things. So now I'm slowly breaking that habit, the bad money habits, and I'm adding things to me. And it's this that I think men have to do. Men think they're going to find themselves. No, you have to build yourself. You can't find the man, because the man, I said this in a previous video, that the man's not over there, the man's not over there, the man's not over there, he's not behind you, he's right here. And the man that you are, see, it goes from a boy to a man, but the man is just your ideas that you've picked up through life. But most of the time that boys grow, they're doing this shit so unconsciously that by the time they become a man, quote unquote, they're not even a man they want to be. Um, like, and that is because they were unconsciously learning things and becoming the things that they were learning and applying certain knowledges to their life that maybe didn't benefit them, right? Or maybe you kept that negative thinking thing, or woe is me thinking, and it's just the way that your body, it's like a habit, an addiction. We don't understand that it's that thing. Thoughts are addictive. Negative thoughts, positive thoughts, all thoughts, thoughts are addictive. So if you start thinking positive, and I hate the word positive thinking because it irritates people. Why the fuck do happy people irritate people? I have no clue. Because I'm that happy guy that fucking pisses people off. And I guess it's because I have control over myself. And I never mean to say this in an egotistical way. Like, it pisses people off that I just walk around happy all the time. I don't know. And it weirds me out that they're not. And I'm like, they're miserable, bitter, angry, and then say, hey, come do what I do. It'll work out for you. It's worked out for me. I'm telling you. It'll get you some money and it'll do your thing. And I'm like, yeah, but look at you. Like, how do you feel? Like, if see, I grew up poor, and I grew up on food stamps. Like, I still get fucking food stamps. I'd be fucking starving if it wasn't for food stamps, right? And it's like, it's that shit that I'm like, okay, how is it that hold on. How is it that I'm, like, sitting here, grew up poor, whatever, and I now understand that life is not about, like, anything other than how you feel. So if you have things but don't feel alive, if you have things but don't have control over your mind, if you have things but you're unhealthy physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, then you lost. And I don't want to look at it like it's a game of win and lose, but like, it's just growing up with little, then doing research, watching documentaries, searching on the internet. Why is that that the happiest people are the people that have little? Because we gained our mind first. And once you gain your mind, you won't rely on the outside world to feel good, to feel like you. Like, once you become yourself, once you find out who you are, then that is the most powerful thing that you could ever discover. Like, the energy flowing through your veins as you discover who you actually are is power, because not too many people know who they are. They're so reliant on the outside world and everyone else's whatever things or whatever, that it's just, I don't know. So I guess to wrap up the video, I think this is a game of figuring out who you are, figuring out who you want to be, and figuring out how to get there. So I don't think, yes, we need to focus on things, because I am backtracking a little bit. So as I researched hedonism and all this stoicism, as I started applying all these different philosophies to my life, picking apart pieces of these philosophies and applying them, because like the Buddhist philosophy of balance, I believe that to the fullest, that everything I just said, hedonism and fucking all these other philosophies, I think for me, every idea would be wrong. But when I take pieces of every idea and then apply it to my life, including pieces of like shamanism, where like I'm actually taking these plants and using them shamanically, and getting to know the plants, doing the plant dietas with my own plants that I wanted to get to know and wanted to practice with, and So like all of these actual things that I'm actually doing. I'm not just talking about this shit. This is my life. Um I sit down and I make music about it. Like literally I've been making, I guess what you can call like digital Icaros. Like so it's different because I've been using LSD to make my album, but like I'll sometimes sit down, take the LSD and make music, and it helps me tweak the frequencies to what I want them to be, or add the right echo that I want, or add the right dimension that I needed for that instrument, or add the right whatever. And I'm able to do it, and while I'm tripping I'm able to kind of see the music behind my eyes in a sense. It's so hard to explain, but it's that thing that this is just what I'm actually doing. I'm not trying to do it to, and I don't do anything for this either. Like as much as I love um making videos, expressing myself, and whatever. I would do this whether I had a camera or not. Like I've been making music since I was a child. Ever since I found psychedelics 8 years ago, I've been using them, practicing with them, learning about receptors, drug pharmacopoeia, the history of these things. I've just been on the journey in my life, slowly learning how to make the music that I've always wanted to make, slowly learning. Like I started a business, it failed, but then I'm trying to save up some money, and like I said, if I can save $500, I can save another $500 to have $1,000, and if I can save $1,000, I can save $2,000, and then invest in my business, invest in these things, and then keep the flow going. It's about, now I'm just on the journey of doing that, but while I'm doing that, I'm literally the happiest man you'll ever fucking meet. Like, I don't think this is about, it's not about whether I even start the journey, because I might, like, you guys will see me right here, whether whether this shit works for me or this shit falls apart for me. You guys will see me here and you will see that it didn't dim my soul, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to go through life without a dimmed soul, right? Because here on earth, souls come to earth, right? And a soul can come to earth and it can lose its light, because as a soul on earth, you're either going to go from birth to death brighter than when you came here or darker than when you came here. And that is up to you, your experiences, and the way you think about your experiences. It's not about what we go through, it's about what we think about what we go through. And sometimes we don't need to think, so just stop thinking. But it's that thing that I have done those practices of meditating hundreds of times to be able to sit there, and as I'm closing my eyes, you're going to start talking about random shit in your head, and then you slowly catch yourself. You're slowly like, oh no, shut up, man. Just stop talking. And then you start thinking about something else, and you're like, oh, come on, nope, not again. And then over time, you'll be able to just, and it's silent. There's nothing in my head. There was no words, nothing. It was complete silence. Just like it was out here, it was in there. There's nothing. And majority of the time, I have nothing going on up there because I choose to not have anything going on up there. If I want something to go on up there, I'll choose to think about that. But I've directed my mind, because I understand that manifestation doesn't work for people because their mind is on a constant speaking thing. It's never silent. So it's always manifesting random realities as you're thinking about them, randomly pulling you this way and that way and this way and that way, because every different thought is pulling you in a different direction. But if you can learn how to gain control of the mind by doing the practices, doing the mantras, and I'm just saying this because this is what I did. I did the practices, I did the mantra, I took the psychedelics, and I'm taking them, I'm practicing with them, I'm getting uncomfortable with them, because for me it's about facing those things that I need to get over. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make sure that I gain control over my mind. There was a point in my psychedelic journey where maybe I gained a little too much ego, where I'm like, oh, I've done psychedelics so many times, I know. But as you gain more information, you realize, I know for me, but I don't know for you. So, like, this is just the information that has worked for me and is helped me become the man I actually am. Because I can't help people get rich because I'm not rich, but I'm rich with feeling. Like, I'm rich with expression. I'm rich with uh, just being myself. Most people aren't even who they actually are. Like, I heard this dude, Ed Milet, talk about what he would say hell would be. Hell would be if you died and you went to heaven, right? And you see God, and God's like, you know, I basically God has you waiting for you when you get there, and like God basically is like had an idea of who you were going to be and who you could have become or whatever. But if you die and you meet the person that you could have been, your greatest version, and you and your greatest version are complete strangers, then that would be hell. And I agree with everything Ed Milet said on that shit. That is real. That it's about if you ended up dying and you weren't even your greatest version, the person you were born to be, then that's because you were pushing and pulling, you weren't learning, you weren't paying attention to what's actually going on this planet. That why are we here on this planet? To find ourselves, to build ourselves, to create ourselves and be ourselves and express ourselves. It's that's really it, because we're just this spark of consciousness that sparked up out of the human body, out of the human whatever, and now we're here. And let's do something about that. But most people can't even think about that because they're not themselves. You know, like it's about finding your purpose, but once you find your purpose, you might not be the person that you were that can hold that purpose. Like I heard this thing that success comes to you when you're ready for it. That like literally you could have everything going for you and you're about to be successful, but if you're mentally not ready for it, you're not going to have it. Everything is about the mind. So gain control of your mind so then you can gain control of your over, like if you overthink you can, like I said, I stop thinking when I don't want to think. Like it's the actual practices that I've been doing every day, daily practices. Now I'm eating a little better. Now I'm working out every week. Now I'm there's all these practices that I'm doing. I take plants and herbs. I do research, like I said, like, and I have all these practices. This is just my life. Uh, I don't watch Netflix. I watch YouTube and I learn and I get educated. And I don't even have my GED. I didn't finish high school. They would have, if the people in my high school ever found my YouTube channel, they would jaw drop. Because, like, it would have never been me, but it is me. Because the me back then, when I was in high school, it was not me. That was the me that the society, that the environment, that growing up poor, that all those things molded me to be something. And I didn't like that. So then, once I seen that, I molded myself to be closer to what I want to be. And I'm still doing it every day. And my main goal is by the time I'm 34 years old, 35, I want just to be more fine. I just want to be financially stable where I want to be. I don't want to be a billionaire or I don't want to be a millionaire or no, I just want to I want to get off of food stamps. I want to get like these are actual things that I'm like, okay, I'm actually in the dirt still. People, because I've been in the dirt gaining information about the mind and gaining information how to get out of the dirt. Because it's like everyone where I'm at, it's like we're all in quicksand. And everyone's trying to do this to get out of the quicksand. And it's fucking them up, making it worse. Some people sell hard drugs. Some people end up going to prison or robbing people. Or that's what's happening in my area, right? That's how people are surviving. But what needs to happen realistically is figuring yourself out without breaking yourself. Like there's morals that I live by that I don't want to break, so I don't break those morals. But it's about figuring it out. So I'm like, okay, I have to change the way I think so it's not because I used to think, oh, I don't want a job. I don't want to work. Well, I fucking have to work. So I might end up getting two jobs just for a little bit so I can have the money to relaunch my online business. Online business starts pulling in some money. I quit the fucking jobs and I move on with my life. And, yeah, it's definitely hard. It's hard to become a man, but it is what it is.